Hello, and welcome to another Bitcoin update video. The Bitcoin chart hasn't given us any new signals or indications about upcoming movements, so the information from previous updates is still relevant. However, I'd like to discuss a specific pattern that might be developing. It's important to be aware of this because it increasingly appears that a triangle pattern could be unfolding. I am always skeptical about triangles, especially in the current cycle, as they have often broken in the opposite direction of expectations. This doesn't always happen, but it has occurred frequently enough to warrant caution. Let's focus on the micro patterns since this is only an intraday update. I won't cover the daily chart in detail here because I did that in a video earlier today. If you're interested in the daily chart, please watch the previous video. Currently, the market is moving sideways in a consolidation phase following a local uptrend. This could indicate a continuation of the uptrend, and there are a few possible scenarios for how this might play out. First, let's discuss the short-term bearish count. In this scenario, we could see another dip as part of a larger wave 4 correction, which started in the middle of March. This correction could take the price down to the lower support region, defined between 55,000 and 55,400. The next downside targets based on current observations could be around 55,400 to maybe 58,000 in a wave 4. It's possible that wave 4 is already complete, but this is just the short-term bearish potential. In this scenario, the B wave might have peaked, and we could be moving down in wave C. However, I don't think this is very likely until I see further evidence. For example, the move down so far has only been in 3 waves, which generally suggests it's incomplete. The door open for higher prices. A 3-wave move down can turn into a 5-wave move, but this requires a bit more development and a break below support levels. So far, we haven't broken any support levels, which is why I'm still looking for higher prices. The support levels currently align with the yellow scenario. What is the yellow scenario? In this scenario, wave 4 bottomed on May 1st, and we are now moving up in a potential 5-wave move. Wave 1, Wave 2, Wave 3, and possibly a completed Wave 4. I'm looking for an ABC structure in Wave 5 that could take us to 76.2K. Whether this will be an extended C wave or an ABC in a larger A wave, followed by AB and then a rally, remains to be seen and isn't crucial at this stage. In all scenarios, the support levels need to hold. For the yellow wave count and the ABC structure to the upside, we have a few levels worth watching. There's a micro support area between 66.8K and 67.2K, which is currently holding and supporting the price as we form higher lows. Even if this breaks, the AB pattern in yellow for Wave 5 remains valid as long as the red line at around 66.3K holds. A break below 66.3K would suggest that Wave 4 is unfolding in a broader flat structure. In that case, the 64.4K level, the golden ratio level of the rally that ended on May 20th, will be important. In this video, I wanted to discuss the possibility of an Elliott wave triangle. I mentioned this loosely in the previous video, but it's worth considering. As long as the support levels I mentioned hold, it's also possible that Wave 4 is still unfolding as a triangle. However, even in this scenario, Wave 4 should not break below the red line anymore. It's possible that in the triangle pattern, Wave 4 will end at the end of the E wave, which isn't completed yet. It seems like we could be in the D wave currently, which would lead to an E wave higher low, followed by a surge to the upside from there. Basically, if Wave 4 is a triangle pattern, this is possible but requires more evidence, such as another lower high and another higher low. We also need to watch for an upside breakout above the D wave high, which hasn't formed yet. In those 2 cases, I'm anticipating higher prices against last Thursday's low, essentially the red line at 66.3K. If we break below that level, then the 64.4K level could still support the yellow scenario in an alternative larger Wave 4. However, below that level, I would have to assume that the B wave topped and the main 4th wave correction never finished. As I mentioned before, I'm watching for higher prices as long as these support levels are holding because none of them have been broken so far. I'll keep you updated. If you like this update, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really enjoy the content, consider checking out the channel membership. Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye. Yesterday, central banks from the banking committee responded by saying that instead of using money to buy assets to prop up the US dollar, the euro, and the yen, they bought Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP instead. If you missed yesterday's video, I mentioned that people often don't pay attention to such news, which is mind-boggling. It's incredible that such news doesn't significantly impact the market or gain much attention. As we move into a futuristic world where the wealthy continue to accumulate wealth, remember these moments when Bitcoin reaches $100,000 or even $1 million. Reflect on this information and its significance. Before everyone else on the planet, no one paid attention to this news. It didn't exist 3 years ago, not even 2 years ago, and certainly not on January 10th, 2024. None of this news was out there because we didn't have Bitcoin ETFs for these companies. It's quite significant, and I wish more people would recognize its importance. For example, the 1,500 companies who own over $100 million worth of Bitcoin each are holding $10.6 billion in ETFs. This doesn't even include other companies holding $99.99 million or less, nor does it account for individual investors, friends, family, or others entering the market, not to mention the companies only allocating $500,000. It's crazy that such news can be overlooked, especially the involvement of companies like Grayscale, BlackRock, Fidelity, and ARK21 ETF. Now, tying directly into this, Canadian banking giants have entered the U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF arena. Scotiabank and Toronto-Dominion Bank, or TD Bank, as it's commonly known, have revealed their exposure to Bitcoin ETFs. It's intense to realize that TD stands for Toronto-Dominion. This development is notable, especially considering recent disclosures from other banks like Montreal Bank. We've also been hearing about Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, and many others getting involved. Don't remember that there's too many names to remember. People have only found out that news because people were literally scouring through the SEC ETF filings, like literally going through the website looking for information until they found something. Scotiabank has disclosed more than $1.5 million across BlackRock, Grayscale, and Fidelity. Once again, Grayscale is always in the conversation. Yes, from the 13F filing, Scotiabank has $486,000 on Grayscale, BlackRock $58,000. It comes to around $1.57 million. The banks who have actually come forward have actually told us that this is from their clients who are like desperate to get into Bitcoin. So the bank is usually buying as always with same with the ETFs as well. They're buying on behalf of their clients. Yeah, not much more to say. It was more just an extra to let you know what's currently happening within the space. I'm actually terrified for summer 2025 like I am. I'm not even half joking because I'm so eager to see where Bitcoin's price is going to be, and I know that a lot of the news is going to be chaotic at that time. The amount of people who are going to be buying, the amount of people who are going to be desperate to get into the market, I know it's going to completely change lives in multiple ways. People who are in the market or who've been buying and who understand and who get it, the amount of money to be made is going to be staggering. You can't. If this is your first bull market bull cycle, you are in for a treat. The other people who are going to realize that they could have bought Bitcoin years ago, even fragments of Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, it doesn't matter, years ago,